Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to Chaptes in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Kuntres Maamar, Ches, finishing off Parak Gimel, Parak Base. We'll start with giving tzedakah. Kedel tzedakah is Hagiula. And we're going to daven for all the people in Eretz Yisroel and all the hostages that are still in captivity, and for Yisroel ben Simcha, and specifically for Roy ben Nitza. It should be safe and good, and should to the Zchus of our learning and applying what we're learning should help him be safe and strong. Okay, so we're gonna finish this parak base today. So we're talking about the Malchus and how this pot. We're talking about this potter's wheel, how it spins, and if we're doing good, it goes to the right. If not left, and really, we said there's like sort of two levels of Hashem's work into, like we're talking about, like Rosh Hashanah. It's decreed how much we're going to get, but that's not enough. Meaning, even if we have a good Rosh Hashanah, it's not enough. We also need to have a good day. That every day, based on what we do, is how much we're going to be given. That's what we're talking about. So the idea is like this. So the will is really the level of Malchus of Atzilus. Which is the source of God's giving influence flow into the lower three worlds. Mistacharas kufum and this goes according to, it spins according to a person's deeds. If the actions, their deeds are good, then the reward they get goes to the right, and it gets from the right side of the 10th division. Now we have Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach. Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchus. So if it goes to the right, then it gets to the Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes. The Chesed and that whole line. Hainu shaz mekavelos malchus mibechinas kav hayomin datzil shehu chachma chesed netzach. So be chachma for me, for you at the right of. So for you it's chachma, chesed, and netzach. Therefore you get more chasadim, more kindnesses, more of these kind, the chachma, the chesed, and the netzach. And it goes down into the world, more good, more kindness. If there's no arousal from below, if there's no effort we put in, and therefore we're not deserving, and you don't do good, so therefore the malchus of Atzilus will receive from the left side. The wheel turns to the left for you guys. Everything is dependent on the action of the lower worlds. So the kitzur. Hashpa, the Rav Chesed, who beribui, shalei al pi cheshbon. The hashpa of Rav Chesed, when Hashem gives from a level above, Malchus Vatzilus, just way above and beyond, so there's a lot of cheshbon. There's no cheshbon. So everyone can get, even not good people, not good things. There's no cheshbon. Cheshbon, where does cheshbon come from? It comes from chachma. Like it says, "Bo v'nachshev cheshbon she'olam." Come, let's think about the calculation of the world. Kol hashpois ba'olam al pi kav v'minas atei. Everything goes according to Torah. Ta'adam nidin b'chol yom v'shah l'fi ma'asav. That a person judge every single day and moment according to his actions. Shebezeh totally hakabala v'hashpa. It's first of Malchus. This is dependent. The hashpa, the influence, the flow that's coming from Malchus. If it's for the left, or for the right and good, or for the left and bad. Yeah, and that's what we're saying. So essentially in Show, we're saying there's two levels. There's a level Hashem is above and beyond Atzilus, and it's Ein Sof, and just gives. Therefore, our actions don't matter. But then there's a level that's in Atzilus where our actions do matter, and based on our actions, what we get. Perek Gimel, Hine Hameniya es Hatiklo Musav Sivu Galgal Shia Misafich Apala Bnei Nasha. So the operator that moves this wheel that makes it turn, that person should get what he needs, what he wants. Hu b'chinas kav minat chachma. It comes from the attribute of chachma. Shehu mahavech zagalgal lefi hayiseirus l'satza, which chachma, because when you go from above chachma, it's above your actions. Chachma is action. Chachma is when we come and we say, when Hashem says, let me, it's a cheshbon, it's calculation. Let me see what's going on. Are they doing good? Where should we go? Above chachma, we give, just like the donor just gives. They give, irrelevant of your perspective of where you're holding, what you're doing. They're not thinking about you so much. It's just giving. Whereas once it comes to chachma, it's not giving anymore, it's thinking. Because chachma is the measure. A specific way. Chachma is, you have to write up a whole report of what you've been doing and what you need the money for and how you're going to be used. That's the chachma. So what does it mean? It means it's turning away from bad and all the 365 negative commandments and their offshoots, being careful with them, and also in the positive to fulfill the 248 positive mitzvahs and their offshoots. And this bar la'el, as we explained in Maamar Zayin, Parak Beis, nimshach misham to nuas hagalgal, and that causes the movement of this wheel. If we do Torah mitzvahs, as the kabel malchus mikavayamin, then malchus of Tzil, we said before, because of this seichel, because they're coming from chachman, and it's going according to logic, and it says, hey, person is doing the right thing, so let's give him from the right side, from the chesed side, and he'll get good. So we'll go into malchus of Atzilus, good, and therefore it'll keep on coming down into the rest of the world in that positive way. I know Shatiya Hanhaga b'vchinas chesed, that will be in according to chesed. V'kasher chas v'shalom loy ichshir dara. But if the generation is not fitting, not doing the right thing, Tia Hanhaga b'chinas gevurus, then it comes from the gevurus side, and it gets from the severity, and then it's very exacting, very judging, which we don't want. And this is the idea of the cheshbon in these two things. We said before, there's like two ways, two ideas in the calculation. Ha'alaf is first of all, is where the person's whole fitting, and then how much of the chesed or gevurah, which one goes more, which one gets pushed more. The base dvarim, ha'alaf, the way we act below, if our actions are good, according to the measure of Torah. And the second is and how the chesed and gevurah will come together. Whether we come from chesed or, God forbid, the other way. And these are the two calculations that are happening. So, so in simple terms, we have to appreciate that what we do has an impact. Not just what we did in Rosh Hashanah has an impact, but every day what we do has an impact. And yeah, it's very important. Everything that we do makes a difference. Not that we can, chas v'shalom, calculate, understand how it all works properly, meaning we can't say to ourselves, I didn't do that right thing, I didn't do that mitzvah, I didn't avera, so now I'm going to get punished. We don't understand exactly how the whole things work. But for sure, it teaches in other places that that a person has to look into themselves. When something's not good going, what are they lacking? I know the shluchim that do this, that if it's going through a struggle or something, they sit down with themselves and see where can they improve on their avodas Hashem. Because like it says here, very simple. Zeo is the mission. This is what it says in the mission in Pirkei Avos. Da no shakol fi cheshbon. Everything is calculated. Everything is called with a cheshbon. Upeish Rashi. So Rashi says achas la'achas lemitzos a cheshbon. Rashi says it's 1-1. They keep on counting that they bunch up together. Pruta mitzaref is cheshbon gadol. Yeah, every pruta, every little coin bunches up together to a big coin, which means in simple terms, every little action you do makes a big impact. Just a little action. And this is a very important message for all of us, that every little thing we do, like, what am I really achieving? It's so little. But every little one makes a difference. And that's how we change. We don't change by drastic moves. That's normally, it happens once in a while, but normally, especially if you're already from, most best change happens in little increments. You don't even notice it necessarily until you, hopefully you can recognize, hey, I've changed. It's just like kids, they grow very quickly. But you don't see, if you're with them, you don't see it. But if you haven't seen them in a while and you come, it's like, whoa, they've grown so much. Like I saw a kid recently that hadn't seen him in like maybe a month. And I was like, whoa, he totally changed. But so too with us. Small things, we have to make sure we recognize these small changes, small things that we're doing that makes a big difference. Yesh cheshbon lehefech, so it's on the contrary, on the opposite, on the negative. As the rabbi say in Masechet Chagiga, Huva Medrash Shmuel al Mishnah, it's brought down Medrash Shmuel in the Mishnah, al pasuk umagid la'adam ma seichei. He tells the person what's the seichei. So he explains, shafilu al sicha shebein ish leishtei, even talk between a husband and wife, averish adam dash ba'akvav, which are averish, that person steps on. Everything is part of the cheshbon. Meaning, I think in simple terms, he's just saying that the comfortability that husband and wife have. So they might talk about things they don't talk in front of anyone else, and therefore they might be able to say lashon hara, that just between them and no one else knows, just them two, and they feel comfortable. So he says this, and so unfortunately, when the husband and wife are together, they have the opportunity to do things not so good. Like he says, he had the various shadam dash, various that people step on, meaning it's so acceptable to these avers. Unfortunately, simple example, lashon hara, whatever it is, and so he's saying, but and it's very private, just between husband and wife. It's very private in the corner. No one knows, just them two. Even that is calculated in the cheshbon. Unfortunately, in that case, for the negative. And the simple explanation, we'll go a little more. We'll go around a little more, trying to finish up to a certain point. Yeah, Mishnah, and some people explain this Mishnah like this: She'im beis anashim yechetu chet echad ein einshim upagmam upagmam shava. If two people make this do the same avera, the punishment is not the same. The effect is not the same. Obviously, because shekafia gedel yikar erech haneshama shelzeh yiyeh pagama yeseh gadol mishachaveh v'chulu. Because it depends on the person where they're coming from. If a person that is a big Talmid Chacham that does an avera of, let's say, lashon hara versus an ignorant person that is not even from doesn't lashon hara, of course the impact is very different. Can't compare. But this is all, again, having in mind, as we're in Atzilus, and as Atzilus is mamshich, is being drawn down into Malchus of Atzilus, which Malchus of Atzilus is the source of all the low worlds, ultimately coming to our world. Hainu hacheshben, v'adin, u'mishpat shenimshach min hachachma shireishis ishtalshlus, which is all coming from the beginning of Chachma, the beginning of ishtalshlus, and this is having an effect. So this is the level of God within Seder Ishtalshlus, within the descent of into the lower worlds, and in that level, everything that we do makes a difference. Whether it's quiet, it's private between you and no one else sees, God sees. Like we said about the husband and wife. Oh, and also we have to realize that it depends on also the person and the personality of the person and where they're coming from. for the sin. Like it's like when someone does a sin, there's like a sin when a person doesn't, on something on Shabbos, let's say, he does something, it's also on Shabbos, but it was like trying to help someone. Let's say, you call that Tzala on Shabbos, and you could have done it with less malachas, you did more malachas. That's what's one avera, and then there's avera on Shabbos that you going, whatever, you take something off the fire and put it on the fire. You know it's wrong, and you do it anyway. They're very different averas, and that's also what we're saying. We have to realize where everything goes into connection. Anyway, Mitzvah Hashem, by all of us, we should meditate on this idea that what we do has an impact and it affects what comes down to this world. And Mitzvah Hashem, we should going to get the wheel turning to the right and should have only good and have an amazing day.